I'm Cody Applegate, and I'm from Richland, Washington.
Okay, Cody. Now, could you share with us your testimony, what God has done in your life? And let's start from the beginning. How'd you came about the church, and what's your testimony?
Well, my testimony is I was addicted to marijuana since 6th grade. I'm 27 years old now, so that's about 15 years of addiction. Mike Dorshuk invited me to Hungry Generation about a year ago, and
how was your life before coming to Hungry Generation, before giving your life to Jesus?
So I think like most marijuana smokers, they spend all their money on weed, and I spent a lot of money on alcohol as well, because with weed comes alcohol and other drugs, and I just was living in a lifestyle that was in the dark.
And how did it make you feel? What made you seek a solution for your life? What made you seek God in your life?
I just knew that I was pretty much coming to an end. I got a DUI about April 1st, so about a year ago. I wish it was just an April Fool's joke, but it wasn't. So I just dedicated my life to Jesus Christ and started attending a home group with Mike.
So after giving your life to Jesus, what some changes that you've begun to notice in your life?
Well, I'm sober, so that's good.
Since when you begin you been clean from drugs and alcohol?
So I've been clean from marijuana for consistently 6 months now, and I haven't touched any alcohol since Thanksgiving. So
come on, church, let's put our hands together for Jesus. And something about Cody is that he's a businessman. He's actually quite a very successful businessman. He has about 20 employees, right? About 20 employees or so in his company, and I want him to share also on importance of prayer, and how it not just coming to church but being consistent and coming to pray. And if those of you that come to morning prayers, you can see Cody without a fail every morning he comes and he spends an hour with God, and then goes to the gym, and then goes to work. And so I want him to share a little bit on importance of prayer, and how did it change your life, and what benefits you've seen from committing your life consistently to prayer.
I just listened to actually Vlad's podcast about the prioritizing your schedule, and I think that's number one. The most important thing is you have to make God number one when you wake up in the morning. Just like we make God number one in our tithes when we get our check, we have to make God number one in the morning when we wake up. And I've consistently been coming to morning prayer and just been praying for my sobriety, and been praying a lot for my kids to come back home. For those that know me, I've had to visit my kids over in Lake Stevens for like the past 4 months, so driving over there sucks, and it's just not very good time. And my lawyer even told me, she's like, Cody, I just don't really see it happening. And
so you've been praying to get custody of your kids, or to a visitation? Okay, visitation at home, which you were not able to do that before.
Correct.
Okay. And so you've been praying every morning prayer. You've been praying for that. And so tell us what happened. Your lawyer said that looks like it's not going to happen after so many times and attempts to fight it in court, right? So what happened?
So for those that know, it's literally paperwork after paperwork, declaration after declaration, and I paid a lot of money for this attorney, and she knows what she's doing. So when she told me I don't think that it's going to happen, I just prayed harder and prayed more. And she called me about a week and a half ago, and she told me the good news that I'll be bringing my kids back home.
Now, Cody, as we talked upstairs, and you mentioned something I think is beneficial for all of us to hear, is that when you gave your life to Jesus, you know, some people, they experience this dramatic change immediately, 180 degrees. For you, it was a little bit different. You gave your life to Jesus and it was a process. And you shared with us that alcohol and drugs, the way you came about giving it up and the way you were fighting it was actually through consistent prayer. Can you share it with us a little bit more?
Yeah, I talk a lot about how you can't give up on God. He's with you through all walks of life, and as soon as you think that He's not listening to your prayers, He is. And you just have to pray more, pray harder, and be consistent.
And how do you, is that, you told me that after you started committed to morning prayers, is that where you begin to see how the grip of drugs, smoking weed and alcohol begin to get looser and looser until the point that you completely were able to stop, which you were tried before but you weren't able to, right?
Right. So I would feel like a lot of guilt when I would go out on the weekend and I'd have a few drinks, and I was really fighting with the devil, and he would try to convince me that, oh yeah, you can go out and have a good time. And I was just telling Victoria last night about how I just was in Cancun, and I had a big battle with the devil. He was trying to convince me how it was okay to drink while I was on vacation, and that devil. But as always, God won that battle. So
it's good. And I think for us, we can underline that point as Cody shared, is that, you know, his battle, he began to overcome when he began to get consistent in relationship with God. When you're consistent in your relationship with God, it gives you power to live a victorious life. Whatever it is, if it's fear, if it's doubt, if it's anxiety, if it's an addiction, whatever it might be, every time you spend time with God, you get stronger and the devil gets weaker in your life. Amen, church? You know, before you go, Cody, I want you to share an importance of giving and tithing, and so tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so with the court that I've been going through for like the last year, and with the child support, I have just been praying a lot on just being able to give back my 10% to God, because when you have a couple kids and you make good income, you give a lot of money. And you know, Vlad was telling me, he's like, you gotta tithe, you know, whatever you can, just tithe, you know, I mean, whatever you can. And I, you know, started tithing my 10%, even on times it's like, you know, this is all I have, God, and, you know, take this. And, you know, I'm praying to, you know, make my income, my tithe here in the near future.
Now share the benefits that you've seen in your company, in your personal growth and finances.
So, like Ilya said, I do own my own company, and I've not only tithed from my own personal wallet, but also from the business, just because I think it's important that not only I'm blessed, but also my business. So, since I've started tithing from the business, our company, and Mike could testify, has been receiving, I mean, blessing after blessing. We are #2 office in the entire world right now.
Come on, let's put our hands together for Jesus.
And our specialists, you know, I've been praying a lot for coworkers and for people that don't know God, and we just had 4 of our employees win tablets. I won a $1,000 Best Buy gift card, and it's just, you know, truly a blessing to see the work that God is doing in our lives.
Okay, let's put our hands together for Jesus. Thank you, Cody.